Good morning, everybody. It is meteorologist Aiden's weather forecast, and welcome back to another update. You guys are probably wondering, why am I posting extremely early? Well, guys, I actually had some plans later today to go to the pool. Gotta be there by like 10 a.m. So that's exactly why I'm posting a bit early, guys. And again, great news, guys. It is August 1st, so you know what that means. It is the beginning of my new tradition, Fall and Winter Week, which is for the first whole week of August, where I post a whole lot of fall and winter related videos. But again, remember, I still post other videos too, not just about fall and winter, but again, about mostly every day. You should at least see one video on winter or fall, because again, we have other things to talk about. But yeah, guys, this is going to be the first video of this new tradition, and as you can tell by the title, we're going to be looking at who can see the coldest fall. So basically, we're going to be looking at the NDO outlook, because it is again for fall and winter, and then we're going to be looking at the analysis and the models, and then we are going to be looking at my own forecast that I made because of all the models we just are looking at right before. So guys, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it helps out. And I will have a later video out, maybe around 6 or 7 o'clock. I don't know what time I get home, maybe earlier. But guys, be sure to like the video, so it lets me know you like more like these, and also be sure to subscribe if you like fall and winter videos. Be sure to subscribe, and also yeah, just stay tuned if you want to know if you get a cold or a warm fall. Alright guys, so as you can tell, we're going to be first looking at the NZO or ENZO summary here. So again, El Nino is present. I really don't know if you guys want me to circle that, but I'll go ahead and circle it. El Nino is present right now again, but it is starting to weaken. So it is more of a weak El Nino right now, really. It's in between a neutral and weak El Nino, but again, as you can tell, it is a very, very weak El Nino, and you will see after we look at the water analysis. So again, we do have equatorial sea surface temperatures, or SSCS, are above average across most of the Pacific Ocean. So again, that is basically why it is El Nino right now, weak El Nino, because again, plus 0.5 or above is El Nino. So we are seeing a lot more warmer waters than cold water, so that's why it is technically a weak El Nino. Again, we are seeing a transition from an El Nino to an ENZO neutral. It is expected in the next month or two, with ENZO neutral most likely to continue through the northern hemisphere, fall and winter. So what this is saying, guys, we can have a neutral. We should have a neutral form within the next month or two. So basically, late August or early September is when we can actually see a neutral. And then they're saying we should have a neutral for the fall and winter. So not a El Nino or not a La Nina. It's a neutral. And you guys will find out a lot more what a neutral is into the video. Alright guys, so now we're going to be looking at the definitions for El Nino and La Nina, because a lot of you guys do not know what this is. A year ago, really, I heard of them, but I really didn't the exact definition. But here are the definitions for you. So El Nino right here is characterized by a positive ONI, which is greater than or equal to plus 0.5 Celsius. So you're gonna see these numbers. I think in two slides you'll start to see these numbers, and then you will understand it a lot more. So plus 0.5 Celsius or above is technically an El Nino. So when you see models go next to numbers on the side of a bar, that is what they are showing, if it's El Nino, neutral, or La Nina. So now that we looked at El Nino, now we're going to be looking at the La Nina. So La Nina is characterized by a negative ONI less than or equal to negative 0.5 Celsius. So again, it's a negative ONI. So anything negative 0.5 Celsius or smaller is technically a La Nina. Again, so I really don't know if you guys want to pause any of these things. We really don't have to read a whole lot of these things at the bottom. It's not super duper important, guys. You guys can read this if you want, but again, not a whole much to read about. So now we're going to be looking at the probability of the probability of the ENZO outlook, and this is updated 11th of July. Still somewhat new. Again, guys, these don't update every single day. But again, ENZ, let me move this just a little bit. So the ENZ neutral is favored to emerge in the next season, to then continue through the northern hemisphere fall winter for 2019-2020. So we kind of already knew that, but it is saying to emerge within the next season, which is fall. So by early fall, we should have a neutral, and it should continue through much of fall and all of winter through 2019 to 2020. So again, we're going to be looking at these models right here. So the blue stands for the models for La Nina. So these blue bars are for La Nina, the gray bars are for a neutral, and the red are for El Nino. So all these have its own color right here. If you guys all know like the bar graph or a graph in math, you do always have the probability if you guys have not gone through probability yet. So this is the probability or the percentage or the chance of happening here. So 10%, 20, 50% chance, and then 100% chance. And then you're going to have the models FAMA, DGAF, NDJ. Sorry guys, I got G and J mixed up. All those are models. So as you can tell, the blue bar is always lower than or always at a smaller probability of the red and the gray, which means La Nina is not so confident this year. As you can tell, the highest really percent is 15% chance, which is the JFM and the JGF and then the NDJ. So those are the highest probabilities right now, and the lowest is all the way to 0%. So again, La Nina is not really looking like it's going to be this year. Really, it's either going to be in between an El Nino or neutral this year. So in the red, that's El Nino again. If you look in the red box right here, that's El Nino. So the highest probability for El Nino is the JJA, which is showing right underneath the 50%. I would say maybe a 47% or 49% of a El Nino happening. So that's actually somewhat a decently good amount of there. And then again, the neutral, the gray bars are all the highest. As you can tell, it goes up to 60% in all the models. No matter how high the percentage is, all the models are favoring a neutral this winter and fall. So let me just move this epic pen just a little bit here. So as you can tell, we're going to be looking at the model outlook. So here, what I talked about, you're going to be seeing these Celsius numbers, these decimals right here. You're going to be seeing them, and these are all the models really. This is just all the models that are predicting what they think. So as you can tell, this is 0.0, which is in between. It's in the middle of the neutral. So again, I apologize if I can't draw the best, but this little box from positive 0.5 to negative 0.5 Celsius, that's the box for a neutral. So anything in between this box is a neutral. Okay guys, imagine this box, but it's a bit better. So anything in the box is a neutral. Let me actually just make that. So anything in here is a neutral. And you can see we have a whole lot of models right here. Again, my box wasn't perfect, but we have a lot of models. So again, no models whatsoever show a La Nina except I think it's the NCEP. That one shows a very incredibly weak La Nina here. Only at negative 0.6, which is barely a La Nina again. So at El Nino, let me draw the El Nino line here. This is 0.5. So anything above this line, this black line, is a El Nino. And you can tell we have about 50 or more of a 40% of the models are showing El Nino, and then 60% of the other models are showing a neutral. So again, we're just basically all we are learning here is that it's going to be most likely a neutral or El Nino, mostly neutral right now. Now to be looking at the sea surface temperatures. These are currently the sea surface temperatures. So again, here in between this is a neutral right here, from 0.5 to negative 0.5. So anything the blue shade is a La Nina, and everything from the red or orange shade is El Nino, because again, it's a positive ONI and then a negative ONI. As you can tell, we actually have a lot of cold water here. This is actually a negative ONI. Again, this is usually what you see in La Nina, but it's just not enough. It really isn't. It's just not enough cold water. It's just very unorganized. And we have a whole lot of cold water off the coast out here of South America, which is usually what you see in a La Nina. But look, we have a whole blob right here of very, very warm waters out here into the Central Pacific. That's what you see for a Modokai or El Nino Modokai, because usually you see the cold waters out here, but now you have very, very warm waters. That can be an El Nino. So that's exactly why we have a weak El Nino right now present, but it's basically not really enough right now. It really is not enough. That's why we're just holding on to seeing an El Nino right now. That's why within the next month we can have a neutral again. But if we have these cold waters spread out a whole lot more, that would be a La Nina, but it's just not enough. Now we're going to be looking at now we're almost to my own model. As you can tell, we're going to be looking at what an El Nino does into the fall, just for those people who want to know. So the El Nino in the fall does bring a whole lot of wet, just a lot of wet and a whole lot of above average precipitation for the southwest and to the west coast. So that's what a lot of people want on the west coast. And then it does bring a whole above average precipitation, very, very wet conditions towards the southeast. And then, so this is a subtropical jet stream that brings in that subtropical conditions. And then we have that jet stream that comes right through here, and that brings milder with less snow. So if you're in this orange and yellow color, that's where you can see mild, above average temperatures and below average precipitation. Now we're going to be looking at another model for the winter, or what El Nino brings. Again, here we have that subtropical jet stream, and then the other jet stream here. Let me actually switch colors right here. So here for another El Nino, it does again bring, this is another model here, it brings very wet conditions for the southwest, and then it brings cool conditions from the south central, all from Texas to the deep south. So an El Nino does bring the coldest conditions to the deep, deep south, so Mississippi, Louisiana. But a neutral, it actually brings cold conditions for the northern southeast, so like these areas, again. But for El Nino, if you want cold air in the deep south, so like Louisiana or southern Mississippi, you want an El Nino. And then here we have that low pressure system bringing in that jet stream coming in. That will bring some dry conditions out here for the Ohio Valley, and some very, very warm temperatures out here into the red for the northern part of the country, into the Midwest. Now we're going to be looking at a La Nina. So La Nina just switches it basically up. It just switches it. So for the deep south of the country, all from coast to coast, to the deep southwest to the deep southeast, we'll be seeing dry conditions, and then we will be seeing some warm in the north, more into the northern part of the southeast. So the Appalachian Mountains and the Carolinas, we will be seeing some warmer conditions in the red. So not really dry, but just a little bit of warm. Now we have that. We're gonna have that polar jet. That polar jet. Come in a bit sooner in a La Nina, which would bring incredibly wet conditions to the Ohio Valley and cold air for parts of the northern part of the country, and then wet for the south, for the northwest. So that's what a La Nina is. And then another quick model of a La Nina, it is gonna bring warm and wet for the green. It brings in very warm into the red, and then it does bring warm and dry into the pinkish color. And then again, it does bring cool for the northern part of the country and wet conditions. Now that we looked at all of those, we're going to be looking at my own model here. So we have a light blue, a dark blue, a purple, and a pink, and a light orange, and a dark orange. So guys, this is all for who can have the coldest fall. So in this light blue color, that's where we can actually see the chilly fall. Again, not super cold. So again, all the way from the Buffalo area through Macon, Georgia, all the way to North Dakota. So it's gonna be going it's gonna be like this kind of. You're gonna see it go like this. Let me actually do that again. It's gonna be going like this most of the time. Again, but I think we could have it chilly into the light blue. So if you're in the light blue, including me, so the Appalachian Mountains, you can see a chilly fall. Now we go in the second shade of blue. That's where we can actually see some cold. So again, each step up will be more to the north. So for parts of the Dakotas, the Ozarks, all the way to the Ohio Valley. So if you're in the dark blue, look for your area. Just generally, guys, look for your area and see what shade you're in. If you're even in a shade, like just look in your area. So if you're in the second shade, you can see a cold fall. Now if we go in the third shade, which is purple, we see it all the way from the Dakotas, cut down through parts of the northern Ozarks, through the St. Louis area, through Indianapolis, and through Toledo. that's where, and also parts of Michigan, the purple. So see if you're in the purple, that's where you can see the colder fall. So colder than the cold. I know I didn't really have a good name for that, but it's going to be colder than these two. So if you're in the purple then, and then now for the fourth and final shade, that's where we have coldest. So if you're in the pink color, you can have the coldest fall. So again, this is who can have the coldest fall in the Midwest. I believe they can have the coldest fall in general, way more cold, a lot colder than the others. So again, the answer to your question is the Midwest could see the coldest fall, and I will have some warm into the first shade of orange. So parts of the Southwest to the west, that's where we can have warm, and then the warmest fall could be in parts of the or the warmer fall, not warmest, warmer fall. So the third shade, that will be into the Southwest. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye guys.